This week I'll try to show a bit more of inside footage of the training and match preparation, with the behind the scenes of how I handle different situations and what kind of challenges life sent me this week. It was a busy week, the same as the game, which I'm going to reflect on it later on in the video. So let's go to the video and hope you'll enjoy it. Yep, so it's 6:25, just arriving at the ground. It's not looking good with the, it's not really looking good with the squad numbers today. We're looking for about maybe 8 players to train today. A few have messaged that they have a complaint with their foot, and one has complained with the knee. So those two are questionable whether they train or not. And for others, there's few just decline either due to work or other circumstances. There is one player that is still injured and she's just awaiting at home for stitches to heal and to be removed, and then she can take part in training. Until then, she's just gonna relax. So intensity wise, it doesn't look too good, but we still hopefully will have a good session with as many as players turn up, and we'll try to do our best. And I'll catch you in a second when I'm gonna go and grab my kit. Yep, so that's the plan done for the pre-activation. Now I need to grab this board and grab a few stuff and head out. So yeah, this is our container, which is locked. Nice. Sick. So it's locked, and I don't have the keys. The key is with Billy, but he's in a meeting, and he didn't leave the keys to anyone to give it to me. Very nice. So that means I'll be late to do some stuff, which is great. Hate my life. And this is first team container. Better view. So this is a first team container that holds quite some good stuff in there. Obviously it's stocked, so can't see a lot. But yeah, the whole thing that I need is unfortunately not here. So I need some hurdles, but they are locked in our container, which is not really good. Which I don't have access to it. And yeah, I have small ones. I need high ones. And these are the big ones, which I don't need. Well, wish me luck. Yay, so we finally got keys. The time is 9 minutes for training. Yeah, it's gonna be stressful as always. It's not stressful, but just annoying. It will take me a speed run to set all the things up again. Session wasn't the best one. We only had 10 players on up. Obviously the weather wasn't too good as well. It was raining, it was very windy, and it's quite cold, so everyone did not enjoy this session. Neither do I, but that's part of life. Myself, I had to got involved, stay in goal, but it was so cold, so barely moved or anything there. The intensity wasn't there, though the pre-activation in SNC went quite well, so that was quite good from my point of view, but the whole session overall wasn't the best. Obviously some girls didn't feel well too, saying they're sick and everything. Some of them have a game tomorrow, not feeling well going in there. So it's a tough week for us, tough week gonna be on Sunday as well. Going into that game's not feeling good, But as a sports therapist and strength and conditioning coach, I need to keep in touch with the players, making sure they're feeling good. Talk with them about nutrition, recovery. This is the part of the job, and hopefully we can recover well. And yeah, we'll look forward to see everyone Thursday. Hopefully the session will be better, the weather will be better as well, and we'll go on Sunday and grab that win. Today we're gonna quickly recap of what happened this week. I'm recording this quite late. So we have a game tomorrow, an away game playing against Bridgewater, which I'm no idea where it is. So we're gonna see in a second. This week itself was okay. On Thursday we didn't have a session. It's been cancelled. A few of the players got ill. To be fair, I don't know why the coach decided to cancel the training. The last season I remember we trained with 5 or even 8 players, and on Thursday we would have ended up with 12, maybe 10 players. So we still would have had a good session and preparation for the Sunday. And now it's happening that we only had one training day going into this game, which is not ideal. And knowing that Tuesday session wasn't the best as well because of the weather. It was raining and it was very windy. And having that Thursday game off, it's really not helping going into this game. And as well, there was 2 players that messaged me saying that they need a review. One of them was a knee issue and Achilles, so she got clipped in a game, and there was a bit swelling and bruising going in. So it would have been definitely a good thing to review her on Thursday going into this game. So now it's more like a question mark for me, what's going on with her. And seeing the images that she sent me, I could see the bruising and swelling going on her knee, just under the patella. And with Achilles, I could have seen some bruising as well. So it would have been a beneficial for me to review her going into Sunday. And also, she might not have trained on Thursday, or maybe she would. Also, that would give me a good chance just to try any taping technique, just to see if that helps. If that would help, we would have done the same thing on Sunday. If that taping technique didn't help, I would probably done something differently. Maybe that would have helped in the game. So really disappointed that training is off. And also the other player was also complaining with some ankle pain, and that was a strange one as well, as there is no real mechanism of injury or anything going on. She just straight up just messaged me saying it's hurting again, and she had some issues with the ankle previously too. Also forgot to mention that this week also covering first team training. I'll be covering from strength and conditioning point of view. So that means I'll be responsible for the warm up and making sure that in the gym girls do everything they need to, and I'm gonna support them during some training as well. But basically we'll start with some dynamic warm up. As you can see, it's not going to be long, as they're going to do some pre-activation, and before that they'll be in a gym and they'll be quite warmed up, so there's no point for me to do an excessive warm-up. It's just going to be a quick dynamic warm-up just to raise their heart rate and get built on them into training session. So the training session itself will be based on some speed and quickness, which the SNC coach asked me to do some, and in the end they're going to do some sprints. It's going to be 40-meter sprint at 90% maximal effort, which will be in the end. So basically, need to gradually increase the intensity and distance so they could sprint out fully at the end. And that's it. The session is done, and I'm going to spend some time with the first team, catch up with some bits. It's always fun to be in there, always nice to see the girls just start working, link up with them, have a chat, have a laugh, and yeah, I'm gonna enjoy that obviously more than being with devs, but it's always nice to come back in there, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm gonna feedback how all this stuff went after the session, and then we can see where the improvements need to be. So looking forward for that, and looking forward to feedback to you all guys how that went. And for the clothing prep, so these are the things I'm gonna pack into my backpack. Just really down there. Have a nice in there. We have also a badge that I keep it. Coat of Arms of Lithuania. I always keep it with myself. So we'll have a backpack. So in there will go the rain jacket, which I usually use it during the warm-up because it's easier for me to move in there. Obviously, I have a more winter jacket that's quite nice and warm to be in, so I'm gonna sit with it during the game and everything. And obviously, we have a t-shirt which I'm gonna wear throughout the day and during the match. Obviously, my top should also be in there. We have some thermals on because it's gonna be a cold day. So I have a match day socks, so I brought a spare one socks just in case it's gonna rain or anything happen. Obviously my pants, which I'm gonna wearing, and the neck cover just to keep myself warm. Obviously the whistle, which I barely use it during the warm up. The watch that I use it just to track the time of the game. I use it just to send the players for the warm up as always. Some gloves, obviously just to keep me warm. Obviously put some spare kit. Goes from last season. You always put some spare kit in there just in case anything happens, like it's gonna be a heavy rain, I'll be drenched, so I'll have something to change in dry clothes, or I don't know, it's just gonna be like blood spilled over it, or just gonna rip it or anything. So always have some spare kit, just power bank, since it's a long journey I'll probably need that. And I'm gonna bring my laptop just to do some work on a bus if I'll have a mood, do some stuff in there, just to do some work, programming, planning, just to pass some time when we're there. And I haven't put the food or anything, but the food will go in there. It doesn't matter is it home or away game. I would pretty much pack it the same thing, especially during this time of the year, which is quite cold. And so I pack as much as I can just to stay warm during these days. So that's just pretty much packing all done. I'll just need to keep some stuff away and all the stuff just back in my backpack, and then I'll catch you up with all tomorrow in a few seconds. Yeah, the time to leave is not ideal, a bit late. I'm late for 10 minutes to leave now, 7:55, but everything should be fine. I should be there about 20 past, maybe 25 past. Should be still have plenty of time to pack all the things up and just to see where things at. Hopefully everything will go well. Yeah, it's always not good just to be late, obviously. Had a really hard time just get out of bed, and it is what it is. Yeah, so the quick checkup before I leave. So I have my trauma bag here, just taking a look if everything is fine. I got my first aid bag, which I need to double check it too. So I have a spare kit if it bleeds or anything happens. But my airways and everything need to check. AED need to check. Immobilizer, which I'm taking this box, all the stuff, and will be the stretcher. It's a better view, so take that one, and of course the radios. Some balls in here needs to be pumped, and we're ready to go. Need to double check it, and we'll be fine. So I just came back from the game. The travel was long and tedious, and I spent most of the journey sleeping, feeling generally fatigued and unmotivated to do much on arrival. Reached the venue around 12:40, which didn't leave much time for preparation, particularly for setting up and capturing any footage. Once we got off the minibus, we collected our equipment and just placed it in the changing room straight away. And after we found out where the changing room are, we just head on the pitch. So I just set it up my warm up just to save some time. And after that, I went straight away to do some treatments and taping. So pre-match treatment requirements were the goalkeeper requested an ankle taping, and one player asked for knee taping, and another reported calf and hamstring tightness, as we currently do not have access to a plinth. So all the pre-game preparation is more challenging and requires improvisation with taping ankles or knees without proper support. Despite this limitation, the taping was completed effectively. The player just sat on the chair, and she had her foot on Stanley for some support, and I just did the taping. I know it's not ideal, but you have to do whatever you have to do. And afterward, we had a team talk and moved on to the pitch for the warm up. Talking about the warm up itself, it was decent, though intensity and focus could have been better. However, given the long travel, it was unrealistic to expect an ideal preparation, but that shouldn't be the excuse not to perform well. From physio perspective, it was quite a busy day. One player had to be subbed out after about 15 minutes due to ankle pain and continued to struggle on the bench, requiring ongoing assessment to determine whether she can come back to the game or not. So after reviewing her, we came to the conclusion that we're going to tape her ankle after the halftime and she can play for 15 minutes, which in ideal scenario I wouldn't let her, but she told me that she's starting to feel a bit better, so I let her go. So during the halftime, I went to the changing room because I need to sort out a few players. And after the halftime, I started doing her ankle taping. During that period, I missed the initial moment when another player was struck in the face by the wall and developed a nosebleed. The bleed was not severe and was already slowing by the time I ran there, but I had to put on gloves before providing treatment, which caused a brief delay. She had continued playing after the referee initially checked on her, but the bleeding became more noticeable shortly after running intervention. Although I definitely promise it may have appeared slow in the video that I'm running really slow, but I promise I run as fast as I can. And it was not the first time that I look at the footage and I'm like, oh damn, I've run so slow. But I promise I'm trying my best to run as fast as I can. And on the camera, it just looks so slow. But trust me, I'm running really, really fast. And it's not easy to run with a trauma bag. I mean, it's okay. I know the first team has a whole backpack on the back. I think that weighs probably 10 kilos or so with the oxygen. So yeah, that can be a bit slow. So initially I looked after her and I reached her quickly and managed to stop the bleeding. It wasn't anything severe. I only had to just hold her nose a bit and the bleed just stopped. So basically I need to ensure there was no blood on the shirt as well before she continued. And I remember the referee was asking about it, if there's any blood on the shirt or not. There wasn't. Aside from needing to clean some blood, the only reason took me a bit more because referee wanted to clean her hands because there was some blood on her hands, so that took a bit of a minute just to clean the hands and the player could just play on. In terms of the game itself, it was one we could have won and we could have definitely won it. Also, we could have lost it as well, but the opposite just missed few chances to score and we had some good opportunities to score as well. This season, it's often been the case where we created several good scoring opportunities but lacked clinical finishing. Defensively, there was also moments where we could have performed better. If you look at the Bridgewater's first goal, it was large fortunate, though we could still have applied more pressure to reduce the likelihood of the cross or shot, I don't know what you call it, which is literally unfortunate that she scored there, combined with a lapse in focus from several players, which can be seen in the footage. After a center back cleared the ball, a few players switched off, leaving the eventual scorer unmarked with the time and space to shoot. And to be fair, that's quite impressive goal she scored with a volley. So hats off to that. Yeah, especially that two of our players were positioned nearby in her but failed to react, which is not acceptable at any competitive level. So a lack of sustained pressure and concentration unfortunately contributed to both goals conceded. On a positive note, we managed to equalize just before the halftime. While the goal itself was not particularly impressive and the opposition goalkeeper and defenders could have dealt with it better, it still counted. So we went into halftime losing 1-2, which is not bad, but obviously it's not good. But our second goal was much higher in quality with good build-up play by Eva. She used her body really well to shield the defender, showed some really good strength, created some space effectively, and produced a strong long-range finish. And we ended up drawing that game 2-2. And looking ahead, we face QPR away next Sunday. Over the coming week, I plan to follow through on my promise to several players to analyze their performance. I intend to review this match in detail, highlighting both strengths and weaknesses for them and areas of improvement. and present the analysis when the opportunity arises, obviously. With that in mind, this week is wrapped up and preparation now turns to the next one. This was a recap of the week and the game with a bit more inside footage you've seen. Moving forward, I'll aim to share more and more as I get increasingly comfortable documenting this kind of content. Each week looks slightly different depending on player availability and where we at in the season, but the overall principles always remain consistent. Next week, I'll show you some different perspective of how the week is structured and how training is planned when numbers are limited. As you know, the majority of the squad is traveling to America for a tournament, which leaves us with a small group of players available during the week. If you're interested in the behind the scenes footage of a professional football club, that's exactly what I'll continue to document here. I'll be sharing more of the planning process as we go. See you all soon.